Jon Jones is considered the undefeated GOAT. He was facing the elite of the elite, and he never lost, even when he was doing coke and wasn't even training. But despite his record, especially against his rivals, his first loss happened at 13 years old. Jon Jones lost his sister Carmen to a brain tumour, and this loss cut very deep. Jon cites Carmen as one of his key motivators to pursue greatness. And it just so happens that, around this time, Jon had something to be great at. Jon Bones Jones became a name synonymous with dominance, controversy, and questions about integrity.
One of my samples that I have no clue what it is. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Over his lengthy UFC career, Jones has undoubtedly become great for his sister.
Heavyweight undisputed champion of the world,
He achieved what many can only dream of, but at what cost? Can you truly be considered the greatest of all time when your legacy is overshadowed by scandal?
I hate you! I hate you! No, please don't.
After scandal.
You were drag racing. I watched you do it.
Okay, let me talk, right?
Let's examine the career of Jon Jones. Not just the highlights, but the undeniable stains that make the GOAT conversation far from unanimous. The rise and early promise. Jon Jones began his MMA career in 2008.
Scores at 30-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Johnny Bones Jones.
With an impressive run, using his college wrestling and jiu-jitsu background to dominate early opponents. He racked up wins over Brad Bernard, Carlos Eduardo, Anthony Pina, Ryan Verrett, Parker Porter, and Moises Gabin to become the USKBA light heavyweight champion. He is one of the 2 UFC fighters in history to finish every single opponent before signing to the UFC, the other being the real GOAT George St-Pierre. This streak earned Jon a UFC contract, and Jones made an immediate impact, defeating Andre Gusmao, Stefan Bonnar, and Jake O'Brien. His creativity and athleticism had fans and analysts alike calling him a future champion. However, controversy struck early. In his 4th UFC bout, Jones was disqualified against Matt Hamill for throwing illegal 12-6 elbows. While many dismissed the DQ as a technicality, it was the first sign of a pattern. Jon Jones bending, if not outright breaking, the rules. Championship dominance.
He needs to be beat.
Jones rebounded in spectacular fashion, finishing Brandon Vera, Vladimir Matyushenko, and Ryan Bader to earn a title shot against Mauricio Shogun Rua at UFC 128. Jones dismantled the champion to become the youngest title holder in UFC history at just 23 years old.
Champion of the world, Jon Bones Jones!
It was a historic moment, but it also marked the beginning of his reign as one of the most fabricated GOAT in sports history. Jones defended his title against a murderer's row of challengers: Quinton Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans, Vita Belfort, and Chael Sonnen. His performances inside the cage were nothing short of spectacular, but as his dominance grew, so did the controversies. The scandals begin. In 2015, after defeating Daniel Cormier at UFC 182, Jones was stripped of his title, following a hit-and-run incident involving a pregnant woman. Jones fled the scene, later turning himself in, but the damage to his reputation was done. For many, this was the first major crack in the image of Jon Jones as an all-time great. Jones returned at UFC 197, defeating Vince St. Preux to claim the interim light heavyweight title. This set up a rematch with Cormier at UFC 214, where Jones delivered one of the most iconic knockouts in UFC history with a head kick.
He's just having a hard time reaching Jon.
But the victory was overturned when Jones tested positive for turinabol, a banned substance. This marked the second time Jones was stripped of a title, raising serious questions about whether his success was aided by performance-enhancing drugs. In 2018, ahead of UFC 232, Jones tested positive for trace amounts of a banned substance. Instead of cancelling the fight, the UFC made the unprecedented decision to move the entire event from Nevada to California on just 6 days' notice to accommodate Jones. Fans and fighters were outraged, accusing the UFC of playing favourites and compromising the sport's integrity. And they should be outraged. Jon has tested positive more than any other fighter in UFC history. He even admitted to hiding under the ring at his gym to avoid USADA testing because he knew he would test positive.
Male enhancement before, and for people who haven't taken it, you literally, you go from being like that to just it puts the twist at the end of a punch.
A year after he reclaimed his light heavyweight title, in 2019, a stripper named Danielle alleged that Jones had caused a scene at a strip club, which included being inappropriate and physical towards staff. However, this accusation did not result in any charges or legal action, and the details were not thoroughly investigated or made public. But let's bounce back to Jon in the ring. After UFC 232, his performances began to falter. Kind of a crazy coincidence that he stops popping and his performance drops. His narrow decision wins over Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, and Dominic Reyes left fans questioning whether he was still at his peak. Many even argued that Reyes deserved the decision, further tarnishing Jones's claim to greatness. Questionable tactics and behaviour. Jones's in-cage tactics have also drawn criticism. His frequent use of eye pokes has been a recurring issue throughout his career. In response to mounting criticism, the UFC even introduced redesigned gloves in 2024 to limit eye pokes, changes many saw as a direct result of Jones's fighting style. But when it was time for Jon Jones to fight, suddenly Dana White decided to switch back to the old gloves, allowing Jon to go straight back to his dirty tricks. Although I will admit he didn't land any clean eye pokes that fight against St-Pierre. He did try though. Can you be the GOAT? Jon Jones's career is one of unparalleled talent and undeniable controversy. From failed drug tests to criminal behaviour and questionable tactics, Jones's legacy is as much about what happened outside the cage as what happened inside it. Can you truly call someone the greatest of all time when their achievements come with an asterisk? I know I can't. Jon Jones is a fighter who pushed the boundaries of the sport, but he also pushed the boundaries of fairness and integrity. His talent is undeniable, but greatness is about more than just winning. It's about how you win.